We're back, and welcome to Balance Part 3. So there's a brilliant coach who I love dearly, Wim Deputter from Belgium. Very smart guy, very, very difficult to roll with. We had a 30-minute roll recently in Germany, and it was slow, methodical, gruesome. It was impressive. One day you'll meet him, Nak, and you'll love it.
I met him.
Oh, you have?
We haven't rolled them.
Yeah, you have to roll them, yeah. So, first off, I need to say this. Thank you to everyone on Patreon who's been supporting this channel. All the work that we can now do is thanks to you people who have allowed us to get us equipment that we can just keep making more content. And as a thank you, I'm going to be making a book. It's going to be magical. And anyone on Patreon who has signed up for the blue belt level and above will be getting a free copy when it's released, as a thank you for your support. But yeah, when it comes to balance, there's a third aspect that we need to take into consideration, and this is the mirroring principle. And so when I look at my balance, if I make a tripod on the ground, the way I get swept is through a perpendicular force between these three corners. So if you can see the corner if you see the line between my hand and my knee, if you push, depending on what angle you push at, you might be pushing towards my knee, you might be pushing towards my hand. If you direct your force completely perpendicular, you'll send me over sideways, and that's the most efficient way of sending me over. And so whenever it comes to me being swept, it's because I get pushed over one of those lines between one of the corners, my hand, my foot, or my knee, or whatever. And that's essentially how sweeps work. The way I understand Wim's mirroring principle, and it has helped me a lot, is knowing which way I'm necessarily going to get pushed and going the other way. So if Naki was in half guard, for example, so let's turn your head this way. Oh, there we go, man. Okay. So if I'm posturing here, if Naki's going to sweep me, it's probably going to be in that direction, and you can probably do a wrestle up, and he's going to come up and just push me over that line, and I get swept. But if I look the same way Naki is, the angle's all wrong for him to push me over. Like, it's actually over there, but my weight is sitting over here, and because we're sitting the same way, he can't push me back to the middle and push me over. So I'm mirroring him. So imagine this as a mirror, like that one. So if Naki's flat, so if Naki turns that way, I turn that way. Naki turns that way, I turn that way. So just like there's a mirror sitting between us. So if Naki has a half guard on me, if I'm here, there's a chance now he could sweep me over. If he pushes me over that line, I get rolled. But if I mirror what he's doing, yeah, he can't push me. But if he suddenly went to go plan B and go the other way, but that's what I mean. As he now goes and starts looking in the other direction, I have to also change. Because now if he starts going that way, it's all wrong.
Now, come on.
Yeah, and so that's part one of the mirroring principle, is making sure that which way they're facing, your weight goes the other way to make it very difficult to them to send you over that perpendicular line. I wouldn't worry necessarily too much about it. If you're going to try and keep your balance, it's something that will come naturally to you. Being aware of where you are over that tripod that you've created and making sure it's sitting in the right place to make you difficult and hiding that perpendicular line. Just as a natural human skill, just trying to keep square to the floor and keeping your hips high and keeping your balance, just being conscious of that, you'll kind of create a mirroring principle, and you'll adjust your hips accordingly to make sure you don't get rolled. The second part of the mirroring principle, pardon me, can't edit that one out, is when it comes to the pocket and distance. And so again, if you imagine, so if we're upright, I'm not sure if there's a staying shot, so we're standing.
No, you're out.
Oh, we can move it here. There we go, fine. So if we're playing a bit of stand up here, if Naki walks away from me, I walk away as well. If Naki moves towards me, I move in. Because if I move away from Naki as he's moving forwards, he's going to close the gap and I'm on the back foot and my balance could be all fucked. But the purpose of the mirroring principle from standing was to close the distance to get through the pocket. And the main thing I kind of took from Wim explaining to this years ago to me was the concept of the pocket, and knowing that, you know, there's a distance between Naki and I, that's where the hand fight happens. And whoever wins the hand fight and can break through the other person's defenses gets to do their clinch, gets to do their move, gets to affect the other person's posture and balance, essentially.
Yeah.
So going through the pocket as fast as possible, catching someone off guard, was essentially that part of the mirroring principle, as I've taken from Wim. So closing that gap, moving through the pocket and getting your clinch before they kind of realize what's happening, instead of moving away and being on the back foot. But as a bigger takeaway, just know that there is a pocket and your hand fighting is important. Greg Souders said it really well in that pretty much everything you've ever done in jiu-jitsu is you attack the hands and feet, break through that distance, the pocket distance, to then get control of the torso and get control of the spine, to then move back to one of the extremities, the limbs, the head, and then you get your submission. That's literally all the jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, that is jiu-jitsu, yeah.
So that a critical part of that is the pocket, of understanding that hand fighting is crucial, and it's something that this hasn't changed. We've been saying this for years, but that has to form part of your balance as well. That, you know, if they get a grip on you, and if they move through the pocket, they can affect your balance and posture. So be aware of that problem. Work on your hand fighting. Work on your control. One of the main ways that I like to do this is 2-on-1 grips and making sure they cross their own body.
2-on-1, we love 2-on-1.
So, for example, if Naki was in half guard, again, I like half guard, it's easy to demonstrate. I can get a hold of his arm, 2-on-1, put his arm on the ground here. So now if Naki tries to attack me in any way,
Let me just keep my own fist.
yeah, he needs to get his arm back. So I'll 2-on-1 him. I'll make him hand fight this. And that arm now feels weak.
Yeah.
So I'll make sure I've got good posture, good alignment. I'll make sure that my base isn't necessarily part of him, because if he moves, I move. But that hand fighting, I also make sure that I get 2-on-1, elbow, wrist, and it goes across their body. And that's pretty much like my go-to basic when it comes to fundamental hand fighting, is hand fight, get control of 2-on-1, move it across them, which that's essentially most of wrestling as well.
Yeah.
Like if you do a arm drag, you're 2-on-1ing and moving yourself to the outside of it. If you do a Russian tie-up, you're doing a 2-on-1 and moving to the outside of it, making sure they cross their own center line. Just keep doing that. Just take that idea. Just keep the idea of moving someone's arm across their center line and you moving to the outside of it, and you're already onto a winner. Thank you for your time. Thank you for tuning into more videos. Expect more next week. And Naki has started his own YouTube channel and he's going to be making loads of content.
Hopefully.
We have this now. But yeah, thank you for your time, and let us know in the comments if this has been helpful at all. Thank you.